Bloomchasers is a pretty fat box here, and this is a game in which you're going to build a tree and put different blooms and flowers on it. It's a gorgeous look, which is why it did so well in crowdfunding. The first thing I want to show before I show how to gameplay it is the box, and I mention this because there's a lot of wasted space. If you don't have this expansion, if you do, the expansion fits in here. But even with that, if you open up this, there's plastic here, but this tree is not particularly big, and if you take out the insert, how much of the box space it takes, the box is just entirely too big. Some branches are put on the tree randomly at the beginning with players putting one of their buds on them. But what's going to happen is there's going to be a deck of cards. It will always have one rain, one wind, and one sun in it, but you'll have more cards randomly shuffled into the deck, as well as bloom cards. And at the beginning of a round, players are going to have 3 different cards picked. Well, not 3 different cards, 3 cards. They might be the same, but I'm showing you all 3. You're going to take one of these cards. You're going to draw a random bud here from the bag, another leaf, and place it on the tree, although you can see you can go higher if you'd like to. And when you're done doing that, the card is going to tell you how you place a bud. If you do a sun, you'll put a bud on the branch that you did this turn. If you do the rain, you're going to put one of your buds next to one you already have out. So if I'm the purple player, something like that. And if you are wind, you're going to do one that's touching a different color. So if I'm pink, I might be able to put one here. Now this matters because you are trying to make the shape of your different flowers as the game goes by. And you'll notice that that bud fell off easily. That's because that happens a lot in this game. They do not stay on very easily. But let's say I have 3 purples here that are all next to each other. And the bloom card is drawn. When the bloom card is drawn, play stops. And each player can take a flower and put it onto a spot that matches. There are 3 different types of flowers. There's the 3 like this in a triangle. There's these 3 like this. And then this one here requires you to be on 2 different levels. So if, for example, this one's here, and there was a blue piece here, and you'll be able to place like that. And when you put these out, they're also going to give you bonuses in the cards in the future. So, for example, the wind, for each wildflower I plant, I can do this action twice. For each rainflower I've grown, I can do that again. For each sunflower, I can do the sun action again. We'll continue until all the different tree branches are part of the tree as you're placing them out and filling with buds and flowers. At that point, you'll reveal all the cards in the deck. And the number of cards there, the more cards there are, the fewer those kind of flowers are worth. So for example, if I have 2 sun cards at the end of the game, then those flowers are worth 4 points. But if there was 5 sun cards, then their flowers are worth 1 point each. And then whoever has the most points wins. You can also play with a little module about blight. This is a cooperative game that you're not playing with all the colors. You pick one of the colors, the purple ones, I guess, to be the blight, and you're trying to fight blight and keep that from taking over the tree. I already mentioned the oversized box, but another problem with this game, and this is a big problem, those blooms and those flowers, they're finicky, they fall off all the time. And this isn't just a me thing. I've read about other people doing it, and each people I played with, and I'm talking about even my kids who have nice fingers and steady little fingers that can slide in there, they were having a hard time with this and seeing how everything fit in. That's an issue, and I feel like that detracts from the game a bit. Beyond that, there's a bigger issue. And I didn't go over this in the rules overview because I wanted to talk about it right here because this is a huge issue in the game. When you make a thing of the 3 flowers, and by the way, the flower thing that's on 2 levels, very hard to visualize that, but that's a different point. But you're placing the flowers out when you have 3 things next to it. However, the rules also allow you, if I have 2 purples next to a white, I can steal that white by putting the flower on top of that. Ooh, interaction. I stole one of yours. Here's the problem, though, and this is a big problem for me. That bloom card comes up on someone's turn randomly from the deck. And when it's on your turn, whoever's card it is gets to go first. So if I have 2 purples next to 2 whites, whoever the card draws up gets to place it and cover up the other person's flower, effectively stealing a turn from you, and because you lost putting that bloom out, and adding an extra turn for themselves. It's a huge swing shift. Not only that, once that flower's out,
you now have more, when you play the card, you get more points. So it's a rich get richer type situation. I really dislike that. Everyone complained about it because it feels mean to cover someone else up. And you can say, well, don't put your stuff next to mine. Well, literally one of the cards tells you to do that. But you put stuff next to other people's. You have to sometimes as you're putting the buds out there and you're like, ooh, I'm going to cover you up. Well, I'm going to cover you up. The random fates will decide who covers who up. And it just is so unsatisfying. That mixed with the points at the end of the game, the points are how many cards in the deck there are of each one. So you're sitting there counting them out maybe like, okay, I think I saw only 2 of the wind cards, so I guess those are better to build. But I also have to set those up, and it's just a really unsatisfying game. The cooperative game, didn't like that at all either. I played both, so neither one worked for me. And maybe the expansion stuff helped a little bit, but none of that also helps the fact that the actual physicality of the game is a problem. This game is just messy. I want to like it. I like the idea of building a tree up and putting these buds and flowers on. That's cool. But functionally it has problems, and mechanically the game has problems. I give this a 5 out of 10. I didn't like it.